Hey, good morning. It is week 9 of the NFL season. We are here on the NBC Facebook page and very, very excited about the afternoon. Can't wait to take some of your questions. It's actually a first for us because we had our first Thursday night broadcast, Tampa Bay and Atlanta, just coming here now off of that. So this is our second broadcast of the week. We're very fired up and excited about it. Got a great day of football to look forward to and a tremendous game tonight. First place at stake in the AFC West. Denver Broncos visiting the Oakland Raiders. First time we're going to Oakland for a big game in a long, long time. So that should be special. We'll get to that in a minute. But first of all, I want to talk about the afternoon games that I'm excited about, and then we'll get to some of your questions. Starting out, Pittsburgh at Baltimore. Ben Roethlisberger coming back off knee surgery. Didn't know if he'd be back yet. See how he does and coming back, and can he get that Pittsburgh offense going. The other game really interesting at 1 o'clock, Detroit at Minnesota. Minnesota would have figured to have been heavy favorites in this game playing at home, but the coaching shakeup, 2 losses, some offensive problems. Norv Turner, who is a great offensive coordinator, steps down. Pat Shurmur taking over. How is that going to impact the Vikings? Will the Minnesota offensive line rebound and come back and protect Sam Bradford better? That's what we're going to keep an eye on in that game. And then out west, let me go to one more game on the east. Philadelphia at the Giants. And this is a game I think that's going to tell us who's a contender, who's a pretender. Dallas obviously in first place in that division. Giants, Philly, playing each other, see who really is ready to contend with Dallas and who's not quite ready. Carolina at LA on the West Coast, Cam Newton, how is he going to deal with this very, very physical defense of the LA Rams? And is Cam's talk with the commissioner going to have an impact on how the game is called and how the Rams play? And then tonight, the last 4 o'clock game, Indy at Green Bay, which quarterback comes out of their little semi-slump? Aaron Rodgers not playing as well as we're used to seeing. Indianapolis has lost a couple with I'm blanking out on the quarterback's name now. Andrew Luck, with Andrew at quarterback. He hasn't played as well as we're used to seeing him play, and who is going to respond, who's going to come out in that game. So 5 really good games this afternoon leading into our game for first place in the West. So we're going to scroll back, get on some of your questions now. And the very first one that I saw come up was asking about my thoughts of MVP. Should Brady be the MVP? And I said on our show last week, Mac, that you look at what happened in the 2 Buffalo games, strictly. First time, they're playing with Jacoby Brissett, they get shut out. The second time they play Buffalo with Tom Brady, they get 41 points. They're 4-0, 41-point difference. You see what a difference Tom makes to an already potent team. But I would say right now at the halfway point, you'd have to vote Tom Brady as the MVP. Another question Anthony asked, did Dez make that catch? Dez has had some great catches. He's had some balls that have come loose when you hit the ground. I think everybody understands now. Going to the ground, you have to maintain control of the ball. There's no gray area. You either do or you don't. So I think Dez Bryant understands that, and he'll be on top of securing that ball in the future. Julian asks, who do I have tonight? And again, you're going to have to stay tuned to Football Night in America. Watch us about 8:15 Eastern time to get that pick. But I'll tell you a couple of things I am looking for. The Oakland Raider receivers had a tough time in both games last year. They played great last year. They're playing great this year. But Amari Cooper and Michael Crabtree have to step up against this Denver physical secondary. They've got to get better than they were last year. They've got to get open quickly to give Derek Carr a chance. I think they're going to do that, especially with Aqib Talib being out. I think that's going to help them. But stay tuned tonight to get my final assessment. We've got a question about Donald Trump. I don't think I can answer that one here on the Facebook page. We've got some Go Cowboys, Go Vikings, everybody just chiming in. Just win, baby. Mike gives us that. And I'll tell you what, saw a great feature from the NBC Sports Facebook page on the Oakland Raider fans. And the fans are back. I'm telling you, this is a passionate fan group. We got a chance to interview some of them today. The Just Win Baby mantra is back. They will fill the black hole tonight. It's going to be outstanding. So we'll make sure we stay tuned for that. Antonio asked, what do I think about Detroit? And again, this will be a good test for the Detroit Lions today. Are they contenders or pretenders? Last week they went to Houston, didn't really get themselves ready, couldn't handle that Houston defense. This is another strong defense. The Vikings they're going to have to pass protect for Matthew Stafford. Having Reef out, their tackle is not going to help, but they've got to put up enough points to win. This is a winnable game now with the changes going on in the Vikings offense. If they're going to truly be legitimate playoff contenders, they've got to win today. Anxious to see how they're going to do. Ronnie asked, be honest, is Atlanta a contender? Atlanta is going to win the NFC South Division, so that makes them a contender. They'll be in the playoffs. Are they good enough to say we can possibly go to the Super Bowl? I'm not so sure yet, but they have a dynamic offense. They're going to have to outscore people if they're playing at home in the playoffs. If they can win enough games to get home field advantage and play in Atlanta, certainly they have a chance. Who would you take against them right now in the NFC? That is really hard to say. I think Dallas would give them a tough time. Right now, it looks like Dallas is in first place in the East. In the North Division, Atlanta can play with any of those teams in the North. They can play with any of those teams in the West. So I'd have to say, yes, Atlanta is a legitimate contender now to go to the Super Bowl in the NFC. And I think what we're seeing now, you don't have a lot of great football teams. Dallas has lost one game. New England has lost one game. But these are not complete football teams either. These are not dominant teams. So everybody has a chance. Everybody has an opportunity. There are probably about 8 or 10 teams that legitimately could make it to the Super Bowl. Sherry says, go Steelers. And I have to always echo that. I started my career with the Steelers, so obviously I'd like to see them and Coach Tomlin get it going. Andrew asks, how will Aaron Rodgers perform? And Aaron should have a chance to get healthy today. I mean, healthy not physically, but emotionally and in terms of stats. Indianapolis playing on the road and without a great pass rush and without a great secondary, this is a day for Aaron Rodgers to put up some big numbers and get going. I see a high-scoring game. I think that Green Bay is going to win that one, but both quarterbacks should have a chance to get well in this game. James, obviously from Oakland, says, welcome to the black hole, Coach. We're excited. We're broadcasting from out there. We're going to have a lot of shots of that black hole. And, again, it's great to have a big game finally in Oakland. Should be a tremendous night for us and for the Raiders. Marcus asks, can the Bengals make the playoffs? They're going to have to push, and the thing that I'm not seeing from Cincinnati is consistent play week in and week out. Yes, they've got A.J. Green. They've got some dynamic runners on offense. Andy Dalton is playing well for the most part. Their defense is not playing up to the level that they played the last couple of years. I think if they can get consistent defensively, they've got a chance to get on a winning streak and tighten things up. Again, I don't think anybody's going to run away with the AFC North, so they've got a chance. But right now, I would say the jury is still out on that defense. Broncos, we'll kind of talk about that tonight. Jeremy asks about the Giants D or the Eagles D. I have a little more faith in the Eagles defense right now because they have some people that can rush the passer. They have been able to put pressure on quarterbacks. Olivier Vernon on the Giants side, he was their big signing. Jason Pierre-Paul, they have not generated consistent pressure. They're going to need that on Carson Wentz today. I would take the Eagles D if I were looking for some fantasy points today. Let me scroll down a little bit. People asking about fantasy, which I don't know too much about. Cassandra says Ezekiel Elliott is a beast, and I would agree with you. He is playing very well. He's a talented running back, and that offensive line is as good as maybe the Cowboys units from their Super Bowl era. very, very poor run defense by the Cleveland Browns. I would look for Ezekiel Elliott to come close to 200 yards. I'm predicting he gets 200 today in a big, big game. Evan says it's football, Cam. It is football, and I said it on our show. I would have preferred if Cam Newton's coach, Ron Rivera, his owner, his general manager, those were the guys that were talking about the late hits and the illegal hits rather than Cam. One thing you do have to look at, though, I saw some stats last week. Cam went 26 games between roughing the passer penalties. That is a little extreme to me. Hard to believe in the shots that I've seen him take and the way he's gotten hit that he wouldn't get one call in 26 games. He shouldn't say it still. I believe that still is the place for the owner and the coach. I'm going to go Natalie Lewis gives us a college football one. Alabama in the house, go Tide and go Cowboys. That Crimson Tide defense, very, very impressive. I think they could have gone 20, 25 quarters and LSU would have had trouble scoring last night. So that was great to see. Some good football. I think they're definitely the number one team in college football right now. Christian is asking, do I think the Browns are going to pull an upset? Everyone talks about a possible trap game today for the Dallas Cowboys. I don't see it that way. I think the Browns could put up some points, but I just do not see them stopping Dallas. Dallas is not a team that has made a lot of mistakes. I think they will pound the ball at them, and I do not see a Browns upset today. We talked about the Minnesota-Detroit game. Donna asked, will Jay Cutler ever help the Bears win? Jay Cutler was very impressive on Monday night, and I think that time off may have helped him. He's got some good receivers. The young running back is running well. I look for Chicago to make a push here in the second half of the year. They're not going to be a playoff team this year, but I don't think it's going to be because of Jay Cutler. Ezekiel, we talked about. Oakland, we'll talk about them on the show. Willie says the no-fly zone. That's all that has to be said about Denver, Oakland tonight. Well, let me say this. The no-fly zone was in effect last year in both games. Raiders had a tough time throwing the ball. I think they've matured. Cooper is a year older. Derek Carr is a year older, year more mature. Also, Aqib Talib not playing will make a big difference. Obviously, it falls on the Oakland offensive line. They've got to pass protect and give Carr a chance. But I see more passes being completed today, more yardage throwing the ball than last year for sure. Steelers versus Baltimore, Paul's asking about. Tough when you get these rivalry games. We'll see how Ben Roethlisberger is moving around, if he's got his mobility at all. I love the Steelers' offense, but in these rivalry games, you can never count anyone out. So I'm going to pick Baltimore in an upset today. Best rookie duo with Dak and Zeke. I can't think of a rookie duo that has been as exciting as these two guys in a long, long time. I'd have to go back in my brain and my memory bank to try to think of that, but they've been outstanding, and one of those two is going to win the Rookie of the Year for sure. Not sure who yet. Wow, Rusty says lots of Dak jerseys in Cleveland. The Cowboys fans travel well, and I'm sure they have invaded Cleveland, so that's great to hear. We'll keep an eye on that. Jay is asking, am I wearing a Packer sweater? No, I am not. I'm actually repping my University of South Florida Bulls, so it's the same Packer colors, but my man, Coach Willie Taggart, is doing a great job at University of South Florida, giving them a little rep today. Eric asks, will the Eagles win this game in New York, this NFC East game? Big game, and I do like the Eagles. I just think their defense is a little bit stronger. Eli Manning and that offense coming off a rest will give them some challenges, but I like the Eagles to win today. Luis asks, can the Niners pull off one more win? I think they will get one more win this year, but I don't think it'll happen today. Jeremy is asking, who's got a better chance to make the playoffs, the Giants or the Lions? They're both, in my opinion, outside shots at this point. I think you'll get one wild card team probably from the NFC West, and then The other one is it going to be the Giants in the East, the Lions in the North, possibly Carolina in the South, or Philly. So I kind of like Philly, Arizona, Seattle right now. I think the Giants and the Lions are outside shots at best. Chris asked, with Andrew Luck versus a weak Packers secondary, do you think he'll have a 300-yard game? I really do. I think Andrew will shake out of the doldrums. He'll have a big game. I don't think it'll be a big enough game for them to win, but I think they're going to be behind, throwing a lot. Look for Andrew to put up some big numbers. We talked about, am I nervous? Hammer asked, are we nervous the Cowboys will overlook the Browns? I don't think so. This is a young team that really is fired up about playing all the time. I think you're going to see Dallas come out and roll. Will the Saints win today? Saints are, Lionel's asking that. The Saints are rolling. They're playing very good offense. I do like the Saints to win today. Ryan asks, who do I think will meet in the Super Bowl? And I'm going to say it's too early to talk about Super Bowl right now. And I'm going to take one more question here. I'm going to scroll down until I get a good one. Here's Greg, okay, on tomorrow night. Will Russell Wilson break out tomorrow night? I don't think Wilson is going to break out until he gets healthy. So much of Russell's game is moving around, the improv plays. That's what's been missing from Seattle's offense. I think they'll be methodical. I think they'll win the ball game. He'll have a nice night throwing the ball, but we're not going to see the true Russell Wilson probably the rest of this year. Well, that's all we have for you now. Very, very excited to be with you. A lot of fun. Looking forward to a good afternoon of football, but looking forward to a great game tonight. First place on the line. It's going to be crazy in the Black Hole in Oakland. Tune in 7 p.m. Eastern to watch us on Football Night in America break down all the afternoon activities, get you ready for the big game, and then 8:30 tonight, Oakland Coliseum. Be there. It should be fantastic. Just win, baby Raiders, against the no-fly zone Denver Broncos. It's going to be tremendous. God bless. We'll see you next week.